Hey, and welcome to this video where I'll discuss the two rules I've come up with for World Conquest speedrun in patch 128.3. Here I am a couple of months after my last war, annexing the whole world. It was generally pretty sloppy played, and as you can see, I have a bunch of pretty fucking many rebels. And I have finished in a pretty late date. In general, I think this route is pretty safe. You should not have any rebels, and you should not finish later than, I would say, a finish stage could be around the 1800 mark with, 15-20 years to go. That's fine. But let's give a look on the actual timeline. I started as Mamluks and instantly vassalized Byzantium with no CB war to cripple Ottomans. That was pretty successful, and it's pretty safe actually. You have a pretty big army to defeat the Turkish army. It's not that problematic actually. Then I expanded westwards towards Tunis, Tlemcen, Morocco. It's part of the route to maybe form Morocco to gain the raid coast to give some money. And you're pretty poor at this point. You like bleed money, mostly because of loans, but yeah, it will be fixed later. But I chose to vassalize them instead and reconquer some of the provinces they lost to Portugal. I'm not sure it was the right choice, but it was the choice I made. Later, I diplo-vassalized Balochistan and annexed them, and took most of the Persian lands to culture shift to Persia. It's pretty important because you need to form Mughals, and you need to have, I think, Iranian culture to form Mughals, something like that. And I culture shift to Persia and formed Mughals at around this point. Then I did. Before that, I did absolutism stuff, where I first declared bankruptcy to get money, to save my money, and then I did the mission tree, the generic mission tree for the Mamluks, which includes the harsh treatment modifier. And combined with the age modifier for hard treatment, you get like 83% discount on harsh treatment, which makes it insanely cheap. And you get one absolutism for each. So after doing that, to get up to 100, and doing court and country to get up to 115 or something like that, I formed Mughals and started by conquering India. Actually just following the mission tree, conquering India, to form or to release the Khan as a viceroyalty or whatever it's called, to get more administrative efficiency. Then I conquered Ming and tributaries, then Russia, and then colonizes. After Russia, then colonizes. Then in the end, Etruria and Africa. Then I think I ended up conquering Scandinavia and Austria as the two final nations. Spice Islands luckily was colonized by colonizers. So, but that was fairly easy. Africa is easy as always, and yeah, there was really actually no reason why I would finish this late. The Austrian War was pretty slow. I guess it wasn't slow. I just began late, so yeah. But it was all a fine try, and it does its job to visualize how a speedrun would work. So yeah, ally Hungary for safety on the first Otto War, ditch him instantly after. You don't need it, but it's better to waste Magyar manpower than Egyptian. It goes without saying, but you should not give them any Ottoman land in the war. You don't need them to be fond of you or anything. Also, you should ally Davasir to give you aggressive, give you the aggressive expansion modifier. I guess it's 10% or something, but it's worth. Then conquer Northern Africa. Maybe do Morocco stuff to cripple Iberian colonizers early-ish, but it's really a choice. You have to evaluate where you are in the run and how late a game date you are at now. But you shouldn't obviously not do weird missions like conquer Iceland. What the fuck is that? Nevertheless, go east, conquer everything but Davosir, which actually I tend to vassalize to just keep them in check, I guess, but still have the modifier, the aggressive expansion modifier. Conquer Delhi and one province. I mean, the province Delhi and one other province that's needed. There's like 4 to choose from. Do absolutism stuff, court and country, and then form Mughals. Follow the mission tree, conquer India, and then just eat the world. Let's look at the other route, where start as Aragon and goes the HRE European route. As you can see, there was also played quite slowly, but again, it does the job at visualizing whatever I want to do and my strats. It can be done earlier, but all in all, this is more risky than the Mamelucan stuff, but more so because of the early game than the end game. But let's start the timeline and see for ourselves. We start by building our navy and vassalizing Bis as we did with Mamluks. Then we reconquer. Whoops, maybe slow down a bit. Then we reconquer our cores, our Byzantine cores from Ottomans. Then we do Granadan stuff. We need to get Granadan provinces to culture shift to Andalusian later to get the Spanish mission tree to in turn get a free PU over England. In this mission tree, we get a free PU over Austria as well, but it doesn't really matter because we are supposed to be the HRE Emperor at that point. So they are vassals anyway. So me. We in the first war against France, we want to conquer France right after we conquered some of Otto. We focus France. I conquer Narbonne and Toulouse and release them as independent state, not as vassals. Release Gascony and Toulouse, and then use the Reconquest ZBs on France to avoid getting aggressive expansion. And that's pretty nice. Then I just focus on conquering Otto, the rest of Ottomans, and following my mission tree, so I conquer the Provence land, then go in Genoa, but I need to wait for them to not be in the HRE, so I waited quite a bit. So Genoa, Nice, Albenga, Genoa, Corsic, all that stuff. I did not conquer Venice and Milan until late game. Just out of safety, I think. You can do that if you progress far enough in your mission tree, where you can conquer Milan and Venice and Ancona, Siena, and Firenze, and in turn Rome without getting too many coalition bruises. You can form Italy instead of Spain, and then just integrating Castile normally to get the Italian national ideas, and they're pretty good. A bit better than the Roman Empire, which we'll get later anyway, but yeah, it will be an evaluation from time to time. It's not really certain which I'll pick. It depends. For example, if Castile got the Burgundian inheritance, it might be a bit more in their favor, and I would choose Spain. I chose Spain this route, but yeah, yeah, it depends. Nevertheless, you go for HRE afterwards. You need to be the emperor. Um, There's two main strategies to vassalize. One is to vassalize the electors. You would probably go for the small, hopefully one province minors, or then two province minors, if then three. But I didn't. I allied them, and I allied Bohemia, and got them to vote for me at some point. Can't remember which, but meh. Then you conquer your way. You revoke at any point possible, but if you can't revoke earlier because they're probably in a huge religious war all of Europe, you conquer your way to Roman Empire, which in turn removes all your fucking provinces from the HRE. Some of you might remember um my world conquest, 10-hour world conquest, where I abused that, where England did that. Now it's been nerfed quite a bit, so you need to be not an elector, not the emperor to do that as England. That is possible as well. I actually think I did this run where I converted Protestant and thus got couldn't be the emperor. I participated in the religious wars. I formed Spain and it removed all my provinces. I won the religious wars and killed off the emperor and got the emperorship back, and then removed all my provinces and gave and let me re-add them. Um, but nevertheless, you can do all the same stuff by forming Roman Empire, which is a bit more tedious. It takes a bit more time, but if you focus on it, you can do it without the vassal swarm. It shouldn't be that hard. Nevertheless, you can see I'm getting close to. I just need the Austrian. You can see I integrated Austria. And get here, and the rest of the Mamluks is going down there, and I form Roman Empire, and I form Roman Empire, and I form Roman Empire. Thank you. And then whoops, the conquest of world can begin. It's pretty late, so I conquered the world in 70 years, and that was mainly sloppily played. So here it was the early game and not the end game. The end game was pretty fast because I had no time. You can see I use client states a lot. That's, well, yeah, because they're free, they're integratable. In the last reform, I give them and yeah, so I don't get as much not aggressive expansion, but overextension, and that's pretty cool. And the rebels that spawn within these client states are easier. They are fewer than the rebels that would spawn inside my empire. When the whole world is conquered, then push the final button and yeah, declare the Holy Roman Empire. In pinpoints, the route look like this. We ally Burgundy first for the sole purpose of the first war against France, then ditch them later, as we did with Hungary in the Mamlukian way. Castile we ally because we want them to do well and to protect them from foreign invaders. They're going to be ours for free in a short time, so needless to say, we don't want England to come around and snatch half of it. We want all of it for ourselves. And we ally 4 HRE electors to maybe, if we're fucking lucky, to get elected early. So we are like Bohemia, always Bohemia. We are like either Saxony or Brandenburg, depending on who rivaled Bohemia. If neither rivaled, we are like Saxony probably, or Brandenburg. It doesn't really matter. And then we are like 2 of either Trier, Mainz, or Cologne. We start by vassalizing Bis and reconquering some of their cores, then conquer some Granadan lands because we need to culture shift to Andalusian, as I explained before. Afterwards, the focus is on France and Ottomans and doing the mission trees. So we try to take as much of France and Anatolia as possible while we progress in Provence and Genoa to secure the trade and I guess to have endless money. That's one of the plus sides of this route. You don't really need money. You get a lot of it. A lot. At this point, you should really see your progress in Italy and choose whether you are far enough to form Italy. But beware, if you form Italy, you will not get the free PU over England, as that is required by the Spanish mission tree. In the end, it will give you 5% more core cost reduction though, so it might be worth it to not get the PU over England, but it depends. After that, you need to be the HRE Emperor. You need to add all your fucking provinces to the empire and find some way to remove them all again. You can do as before as I did, which wasn't it took a bit too much time, but you can flip Protestant and join the religious wars and then again form Spain. That removes all the provinces and get re-elected, but it's a bit tedious. It's easier to just form Roman Empire, which removes it no matter what and just re-add all the provinces and revoke after that. And you should also have enough provinces. Nevertheless, you have revoked privilegia, you have your vassal swarm, you're overpowered as hell. Use your minions to kill the world. Do client-state stuff if you desire. So, pros and cons. Top row, Mamluks, bottom row, Aragon. Left, pros, right, cons. Let's start with the Mamluk pros. First, you get the Mughal government, which is very, very OP. Essentially, all cultures will be accepted cultures for you, so it's free and it's good. It's awesome. Second off, you get the Mamluk start, which is great. You have good military, you have strong navy, or the potential to get a strong navy, so you can beat Ottomans very early to be the dominating Sunni country. So essentially, you will be the new Ottomans, and that's pretty good. You have the Sunni faith, which comes with a lot of positive stuff, a lot of good stuff. You get a high number of core cost reduction modifiers and administrative efficiency modifiers, so you will have a high or very low cost of coring stuff, and that's pretty ridiculous. It gets really out of hand here. It's pretty insane. You don't have to lose time on vassal feeding because that might be efficient in a normal gameplay and a casual game playthrough, but it's time consuming in a speedrun. So it's better to just do one click than to do as of one click to call this province than to do find the nation you want to give a province and find the province you want to give them for every single province. This is faster. Last but not least, the Mamluk government isn't that bad either. For every time your king dies, you get a free, unless you conquer Circassian lands, but why would anyone? You get a free 100 legitimacy ruler, and on top of that, you get 15 army tradition every time, and that's pretty sweet. Let's look at the cons. First off, you're going to blob a lot early game, but you don't really have the economy to withstand that blobbing, so you're going to lose money a lot. You're going to take a lot of loans and going to get in a lot of debt. You're going to deal with that later, and right before we form Mughals, we deal with that, but we deal with that with declaring bankruptcy intentionally. It's just faster. Again, this is a speed run. We could have done it like with microing economics and doing all that kind of stuff, but it's just faster to do it. Click one button, wait 5 years, over, done. But it's not a good thing. It's better to have a good economy. But yeah, that's life. You get this subpar mission tree for Mamluks. It's mostly the generic one with one useful mission, I guess. You get the Hijaz one where it inherits Medina. But that's okay, I guess. But me, you can go for the Moroccan, and that's better, but still not as great as the Aragonese or the Spanish you get in the other the other route. With the Moroccan, you get like free permaclaims on half Iberia, I guess, and most of Western Africa. So that's good. That's not bad per se, but it's just not as good as Aragon. We save Europe for last, which is slower. It's not slow in that manner. Then we can afford a lot of artillery, and that's why we save them for last because they have huge forts. But it's slower than getting them for free, which we do in the Aragonese run. So yeah. And the last point, we don't tag switch, and well, tag switching is fun. Smiley face. Oh, do tag switch, but only once. Let's take the Aragonese pros. We're going, first of all, in the Aragon pros, we are going to own the most of the Genoa trade node pretty early game. So we're going to have a bunch of money, nearly endless money, and that's pretty good. Obviously pretty good. We get all the fucking free PUs we want. We get Castile, we get Portugal, we get Great Britain, and we could get Austria as well if we wanted to, and probably 5 others. I don't know. We own all colonizers, so we really don't have to deal with we have to deal with the new world, but we don't have to deal with the colonizers. We don't have to do this tiring war where we have to find the last province in the middle of the Pacific Ocean to fully annex them to get the fucking colonial nations as well. I hate that. We don't have to do this here, and that's a huge pro and a huge time saver. You get border gore, a lot of border gore with the client states, and that's pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, I like that. I might be the only one. Um, the Roman Empire and the Italian administrative efficiency and CCR bonus is good, but not as good as Mughals. It's yeah, and you start by expanding in high risk territory, meaning that you will expand close to the HRE, so you get the potential to have a huge collision against you. And needless to say, that's very slow. First of all, you have to micro a lot in these wars. You can win them. It's not impossible. You have really strong, you have 15 PUs and all that shit, but it's slow, most of all, and it can become tiresome. It is a very RNG reliant run. Not maybe not very, but you have first of all you have to get elected as the emperor, the HRE emperor, which can be random at times. It is random, but yeah. Then you have the Burgundian inheritance, stuff like the Burgundian inheritance, which you want to have to gift to Castile because you're gonna own Castile for free. You're gonna inherit them for free, so it's essentially yours, and it's part of the Castilian mission tree. So if you don't get them for free, you're going to have to conquer them to get the English PU. And they're part of the HRE, which means they are high aggressive expansion territory again, and that's a really run killer. Pretty far into the run that you just get the coalition, and yeah, it's bad. So this could be a strategy where you, after you ditch Burgundy, after the first war with France, you could attack Burgundy and just sit on them and wait until the Burgundian inheritance event spawns, and save scum until you get it to Castile. And it's not a popular strategy. I know a lot of you don't like save scumming. I don't like save scumming per se, but I acknowledge it's a part of a speedrun at least. Or can be. It's not a optimal part of a speedrun. Let's not exaggerate. You shouldn't be save scumming because it's slow. It's really slow actually. Not only do you waste time, you waste like half a minute every time you save scum, but you go back in time, and that's bad as well. A bad thing as well is that mid-run, you can be forced to change your route, which is slow because you constantly have to re-evaluate whether you're going for the Italian route or the Spanish route, and that can be kind of slow to switch. You can like balance it, but you can't really balance it because you have to conquer a lot of Italian lands if you are going to go the Italy route, which you can wait for later. You can do Balkans and all the stuff if you do the Spanish route. So that's not ideal. But yeah, that's my pros and cons. I'm gonna stream my runs whenever I have time. Whether I'll comment them as well is more of a question of daily form than anything else. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. If you have any kind of interest in seeing it live, I'm gonna upload the full runs in one video to YouTube anyway, so it's not like that. But if you want to see me fail 500 times before getting on a run, then follow my Twitch page. It's the same name as this one. I'll put the link in the comments as well. Well, yeah, that was it. Please share your opinion, whether you agree with me and my routes or not, or think they're garbage or whatever. I'll try to reply to every single replyable comment. It'll be fun. Speedrunning is fun.